Hello, hello, awesome humans. All right, I have a question for you. Is there something that you have thought about doing or wanted to do for a while? Maybe it's a business that you want to start, or you want to write a book, or you want to learn a new skill. But when you think about it, you're like, well, but to do that, I'm going to have to quit my job and I don't want to do that, or I can't do that. So you just never pursue it. This is on my mind because I've been hearing this increasingly from a lot of people, both my clients and just people I interact with. And I want to shift how you think about that. I want to help you get out of this all or nothing thinking that the human brain often falls into, right? I either do this thing that I want to do, I either go all in and then I have to completely change my life and quit my job. And that's really scary. And I don't know how it's going to go. So I'm just not going to do it. Or okay, I'm just not going to do it, right? I go all in, I change my life, or I do nothing. In fact, that all or nothing thinking is what gets in the way of so many people doing so many wonderful things that they want to do. And it doesn't have to be like that. And I want to share a story with you. This is so timely because it's about one of my clients who last week did something she's been dreaming about for decades and never knew how to do because she thought she would have to dramatically change her life and quit her job. And it kicked off, it cracked open, in her words, her dream without this all or nothing thinking. In fact, shifting out of this all or nothing thinking is what allowed her to do it. So I'm so excited to share this because I'm so proud of her and she's given me permission to talk about it. Her name is Kate. And Kate took part in one of my accelerators to help her envision what is it that she wanted to do. You know, she's been in an event management planning career for a long time. She likes it. It's been something she's enjoyed, but that's not all of her, right? And for none of us is our job, all of us. And so when she took part in my accelerator, it was, in her words, the first time and as long as she could remember where she paused to think about, well, what do I want my future self to be? What do I want to be doing? How do I want to be feeling in the next 5 years or 10 years? And then Kate and I actually started working one-on-one in a year-long mentorship. And as we started to kind of peel off these layers of who she's supposed to be, you know, this leader at work, mom, etc., I asked her this question. I said, hey, is there something you've always wanted to do that you might have dismissed because it wasn't realistic? And she immediately said, you know, I've always wanted to start a candy shop. And she told me that when she was little, she loved going into their local candy store. And I didn't grow up in America, so I don't have this memory, but you might relate to this. She said you'd go in, you'd hear like the bell ring, like ding, as you open the door. And then you get your little brown paper bag and you take the candy for like 5 cents and you go enjoy it. And she just had these wonderful memories about that. She said, I've always thought I wanted to have a candy store, but I don't know, like I have a career. I'm a breadwinner for my family. Like, I don't even know how that fits in. What am I going to do? Quit my job, start a candy store. And just the sparks in her eyes were so bright. And so I said, well, who says that you have to start with a store? And who says that you have to quit your career? And for the next few months, Kate and I began to get out of this all or nothing thinking. And what we came up with is to do a pop-up in her house to bring her dream, to start bringing her dream to life. And so, but the first thing, and I'm going to tell you what happened and how great it was, but the most important thing, the most critical step that Kate took was to get out of this all or nothing thinking. Either I go all in and start this new business, which I'm not, like she didn't feel ready to do or could financially do, or I just do nothing and carry this dream around with me for decades. Once she got out of that frame and we started to brainstorm different ways that we could bring it to life, it just completely invigorated her and put her into action. And so my suggestion to her was to do something in her house. Why do you need a store? Why do you need a location? And over the next few months, you know, she came up with the brand name. It's called Sweet Kate's. And we actually worked on designing a logo and really encapsulating her spirit in it. And then the most important thing is what I said to her is, I said, look, why do you want to have a candy store? Like, what is it that's been driving this dream? She said, I just love that ritual when I was younger. And I just think it's this beautiful way for, people to slow down, to connect with each other. And so I said, so it's not just about the candy. And as we work through this together, what came out of it is that what Kate really wanted to bring into people's lives are more moments of intentional connection. And the candy store, the candy concept is just kind of the experience of it. And so together we designed this experience, this pop-up, Sweet Kate's pop-up, that she now successfully hosted last week in her house for, I think, about 35 people. And we designed this experience. And so it wasn't just about like, come and grab a bunch of candy and hang out. We really focused on this thread of connection. And so when people came in, for example, they got these name tags like, hello, my name is Natalie, and my favorite candy is, to inspire them to connect and share stories with each other. I'll share with you my favorite candy. I'm not a candy person. I'm more like bread and butter and salty things and like that kind of person, but I'm not a sweet person. But one of my favorite candies is the Three Musketeers, because it was the first candy that I've ever tasted when we came to the United States. So I have this memory around it. So we created these name tags to encourage that kind of connection. And instead of just being able to make a bag of candy, Kate ordered all these candy. We had people make 2 bags, one for themselves and one for other people to give to someone. And then we had a station that she created with cards and markers and pencils where people would write a note, a gratitude note to someone they're giving the candy to, or just a personal note. And so we just wove all these elements of the connection experience. And I was talking to Kate about it yesterday on our weekly call, and she was in tears because it was this incredible moment of seeing her dream come to life. And she said, just the way my husband was and my daughters and my friends who were there, it just cracked open everyone. This is what happens when you get out of the all or nothing thinking and instead ask yourself, well, what are some steps I can take to just bring this into my life right now, right? In whatever form that works. Because that is how you begin. Of course, now Kate and I are developing all kinds of ideas together, from more pop-ups to doing this at conferences as a branded experience, to eventually maybe having a trailer that goes around. But instead of this just being this thing I've always wanted to do, but I'm not doing it because I can't go all in on it, like I can't quit my job, the biggest shift was to ask a different question. How is this something that I can start doing now? How can I shape it so it can fit into my life now? Because you do not need to quit your job to start pursuing something you care about. The most important thing is just to start taking steps. And that's also how you find out if you actually want to do that thing. I got an email from someone who is on my email list, who I've recognized because we've connected before. And she said, I've always wanted to write a book. I've been thinking about writing a book for about 10 years. And she mentioned the topic. And she said, I just don't seem to get around to it. I get really busy with work, with my family. And what I said to her is, the most important thing you can do to honor yourself and this dream is to make it a daily priority to dedicate some time to it, maybe 15 minutes in the morning, maybe 30 minutes, right? And just start doing it because, and this is really important, this is how you find out if you actually want to do that thing. Because maybe, and this is what I wrote to her in an email, maybe you don't actually want to write this book. And it's not bad. It's really important to let go of dreams that are no longer aligned with us. But the only way to find out if you actually want to do this thing is to start doing it. You do not need to dramatically change your life. You do not need to quit your job. You just need to start doing it. And in Kate's example, after she did that first event, now she's so excited to do more, and we're going to come up with different ways to do them. So she's getting the feedback from herself that, yes, I want to do more of this. And eventually, as she does more, it may come to a point where she can make the choice at that time. Okay, I'm going to focus on this as a business and consider transitioning out of my job, but she will do it at a time when she's ready to do it. And so my encouragement to you this week, and why I wanted to record this episode, is to reflect on, where are you being caught and where are you keeping yourself in this jail of all or nothing thinking? How are you denying yourself doing something that you really want because you've created a certain hypothetical set of conditions that have to be true for you to do it, right? For me to work on this book, I need to have lots of free time, or for me to start this business, I need to quit my day job. Question those assumptions. I promise you they're not true. It's actually one of the ways, ready for this? This is a mic drop, okay? It's one of the ways that your brain is trying to prevent you from taking a risk, from doing something new. It's one of the ways your brain is trying to get you to stay in the safety of the familiar by creating this all or nothing construct. Well, can't quit my job right now, so I'm not going to start that business. Or I don't have 3 hours a day to write, so I'm not going to start that book. No, you got to call BS on your brain. It's just afraid naturally. Your brain is always afraid when you want to do something new, because new means uncertainty. It means to your brain possible danger. I don't know how to keep you safe. And so this all or nothing thinking is one of the ways that your brain comes up with to keep you stuck and to keep you away, to prevent you from actually doing this thing you really want to do. So reflect on that. Get honest with yourself. What is something you wanted to do for a while? Whatever it is. How can you start doing it in your life as it is? How can you change the shape of it? Right? So for Kate, instead of saying, I'm going to have a candy store, we started with a candy pop-up, candy experience pop-up in her house. Well, she doesn't need to quit her job for that. So have that inner honesty with yourself of what is the all or nothing thinking that you are caught in, and how can you change the assumptions? What are the false assumptions you're making, and how can you change how you're thinking about doing this thing that you want to do so you can start doing it? Because this is what separates people from who make their dreams come true from people who don't. This is it. They're not smarter. They're not, people who make their dreams come true are not luckier. They choose to take action. That's it. And they don't allow themselves to have excuses or these false rationales that keep them from doing it. So can you step into this empowered self? And instead of thinking, well, I can't do this because I'd have to quit my job, I can't do this because XYZ, the empowered self says, how could I do this in the constraints of my life as they are? And that's how you begin to take the steps towards doing something that you really want to do. And that's how you also find out, is this the thing I actually want to do? Because it might not be, and that's okay. Because when you let go of dreams that are not really yours, that are not really things you're excited about, you create room for more dreams, for things that you actually want to pursue. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you, as always, for being here, for sharing a little bit of your time and openness with me. The most important thing is, I always ask you, is take something you heard, put it into action. And if this resonates, please subscribe to the podcast. Please share it with others who might benefit. Please rate and review it on whatever platform you're listening on. It helps other people to find it. Thank you, awesome humans. I will be back next week. As I like to say, I'll be in your ear, or if you're watching on YouTube, on your screen. Have an awesome rest of your week.